joining us today for another episode of What's Your Why Wednesday. Today, I am here with the amazing Taylor Ellard. She is the National Business Development Team at Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Taylor, thank you so much for joining us today. All right, Taylor. So, the majority of us accidentally came into this amazing industry within the mortgage industry. But we stay in this industry because it's tied to our personal and professional why. Now, Taylor, we'd love to hear, what is your why?
I love that question. And there's so many ways that I can take it because, you know, as a female in this industry, as a mom, as a friend, as someone's mentor, you might not even know it. There's just so many ways that I'm passionate about what I get to do. And I say get with intention, right? I get to do this every day. Nobody wakes up at 5 and says, you know, Mom, I really want to be in the mortgage industry, right? Like I want to be in sales. No one ever says that. But, you know, for me, you know, as a podcast host, as someone that coaches, you know, mortgage bankers that are trying to grow their business through prospecting at an interesting time right now with the industry in September, the way that it is. I'm not sure when this airs, but my why is consistently the same thing. I am serving mortgage bankers who serve. So I help them grow their business through branding, through prospecting. Someone who doesn't know, you know, what to do. Maybe they're coming over from the bank world and they really don't know how to get their name out there. And I'm passionate about helping them see their strengths and be able to really leverage and capitalize them. So my why is, while they're busy serving every day, trying to get people in homes, I'm serving them.
I love that. And you know, you said something that really kind of touched a nerve in me, where you said you get to. You know, how many times, you know, do we, I'm not using us as the example, but we'll use someone else as the example. How many times do people wake up? Let's just take a Monday, right? People wake up on a Monday and they're like, oh, I have to go to work, right? Oh, it's Monday. And when you look at things like that, then yes, it can be that reaction. But when you realize that we are blessed and that we do get to go out and serve and support and be there and to make that difference in the world by the work that we do. And it's funny, Taylor, you know, I've spoken to so many people about their why and about their story of how they came in and all that. And I think back on when I first came into the industry, it was during a time when, you know, there was some negative of what a loan officer or what the mortgage industry meant, right? Mm-hmm. And we've gone through those cycles. We went through those cycles when the subprime crash happened, where people were like, what industry are you in? But when, and I remember early on that I thought to myself, maybe this industry isn't as beautiful as I perceive it to be.
Right.
But that is incorrect, because we all know that it is serving and it is making a difference in the lives of others and for generations, right? Generations to come. So this actually leads me to my next question of, Taylor, I'd love to hear stories, and I would love to hear a story from you of when you realize that impact, like when you realize, wow, we are serving and we are making that difference. And it affects many ways. It could be with your team. It could be, you know, direct connection to a borrower, a family. So please share a story with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so many, but and it's this story is more so of kind of a recurring story that happens when I get to coach mortgage bankers. Is, you know, I always say, and my boss laughs at me, but my role is almost as if marketing and business development sort of had a baby for mortgages, right? So I get to coach mortgage bankers on helping them brand themselves. And we know being top of mind is so important right now, but a lot of folks will come to me and they have this yearn to to prospect and to try and figure out, how do I get myself out there? How do I market myself? How do I advertise myself? And 9 times out of 10, a lot of them are scared to be on video, right? They're just, it's not their comfort zone, or they don't like how they look or how they sound. And you remember, Laura, when you first started in this, you can reflect on your videos and you're like, look how far I've come, right?
To be
My favorite.
honest, Taylor,
Yeah.
I don't watch mine back. I
don't watch mine either.
I have no problem doing them. I put a camera in front of me anytime, but I don't watch them back.
I don't either. And I think maybe that's what it is. And I coach that as well. I say, if you royally mess up, do it again. But if you don't, let it fly. And here's what, at the beginning of this year, I read a quote that's really kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things. It's, what other people think of you is none of your business. And so that I coach that now. That really resonated with me because it's so, so true. What other people think about you is none of your business. And so if you go in with that mentality, it really is just about mentality. Just like we were just saying, you get to do this every day. That's something you tell yourself, you manifest that yourself. And so if you can go into video and branding and trying to get your digital footprint out there with I don't care what other people think, because that's none of my business. And so if you can get your head wrapped around that, when I see mortgage bankers and they went from, and I coach them from just take pictures, right, of things, and we can turn those into reels. We can craft those into different messages, to now it's them getting crafty and creative themselves in front of the camera, because they're starting to say, you know what? At least I'm doing it, right? The competitors might not be, but I am out there showing my expertise, showing that I'm in the community. And so really having that full circle effect of, I'm so scared to do it. What if I say the wrong thing? All the way to, I'm starting to get this competitiveness in myself because I'm seeing these, different videos of myself perform so well. For me, it's just such a good moment because I've coached someone out of this scared mindset and I pushed them into something great.
So I have a story to share about exactly what you're saying. So just this past week, I told you I was traveling, and I was going from one business trip to a speaking event, which was NAMBA Connect. Okay. So it's late. I'm taking a flight, maybe 9 o'clock at night, and we're all boarding and we're getting on. And when I got to my seat, there was a gentleman sitting in the seat next to me. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Right. And he turns to me and he says, oh, are you going to the MBA? Now I was kind of taken aback because I'm looking at this man and I have no idea who the man is, but yet he's asking me if I'm going to the MBA. And I'm like, no, actually I'm going to NAMBA. Taylor, he recognized me from social media.
Wow.
I had no idea who the man was. This was not a flight of mortgage people. So it was just a random person that I had no idea who he was, what was going on, but he knew of me from the mortgage industry, from social media. And
you don't even realize the impact you're making on people. You have no idea until it smacks you right in the face when you least expect it.
So for everyone out there, this is your public service announcement that you have to absolutely brand yourself. You have to get out there. You have to realize, listen to what Taylor is saying, because it's not an option. It is not I'll do it next year. Oh, it's not me. Oh, I only wish this. No, you have a message and you have to get it out there, and you have to stop coming up with these excuses in your mind, and you have to do it.
And if you don't, you're going to miss your bus. And I always say now, it's no longer something that's extracurricular. It is an integral piece to your business, and you've got to start doing it.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And you have to have that plan, right? Like you said, it has to be part of your business, right? Whether you do it, I know for myself, I do my social media calendar every Sunday. Every Sunday, I have my calendar for the next week. And it's part of my business. It's something it's not an option. It's not like, oh, let me think of what I'm doing today. No, I don't have time during the week to think about that. I do that on Sunday so that I have that plan. So since we're on this topic, what tips would you give to those out there?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I have so many. I've been in this for so long and I've coached so many folks. I would say find what you're passionate about. Find your target audience and start there. If you've got a Jeep, get in the Jeep club, talk about what you do, don't be afraid. That's the other side of it is there's a way to humbly boast about what you do, right? You get to serve people, you get to put people in homes and help them with the goal of home ownership. And that is huge. And you can boast about it as long as it doesn't come off salesy. So, make sure that right now you're willing and able to start with a social media presence. And by the way, from going no videos at all, trying to get out of, the mindset of being scared. I always call it the overthinking muck. Get out of the overthinking muck and just start doing it. If Sundays work for you, try and time block where there's a realistic time instead of it being Tuesday at 10 after you've had your pipeline call and you're trying to put fires out. That doesn't make sense. That's an unrealistic time block. You need to shift that. And people don't even think about the weekends, but like you, I make a to-do list every Sunday. I look at my calendar and I know, okay, I need to stack this habit on top of what I'm already doing during this meeting, or don't forget to capitalize on this opportunity, right? So I make sure I have that list and that's something I live by. A lot of times too, I'll email myself on that Sunday. I'll email instead of like writing it down, I'll have it in an email and have that up all the time. So I know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this is what I'm trying to achieve. These are the goals of the week. And if I meet that, which 9 times out of 10 I do because I wrote it down and I sent it to myself. I cared that much about my business to tell myself, you need to do these things. And you don't have to start every day, but at least get some consistency. And again, people get kind of scared that they have to be on all these platforms. Pick one or two that you're already on and go from there. That's where I would say just start. At least see what you like, see what you enjoy, get your agents involved, get your borrowers involved. I always recommend if you're going to a closing, don't the people are always posting, and this isn't a bad thing, at least you're getting out there, but they're always posting your testimonials, right? Laura was so great, she was so kind throughout the whole process, she made everything seamless, this was a wonderful experience, a paragraph long, right?
Yeah.
Who's reading that?
Nobody.
No one's reading those things. You're just there, right? It's just you glaze over it. Okay. How much more impactful would a video testimonial of you at closing, taking a video, dropping the keys into their hands and saying, Laura, how does it feel to be a homeowner? And you might even get tears.
Yeah.
That is so much more impactful than reading a paragraph or anyway. So I would say, think outside the box, think about who your target audience is, what types of content that they want to consume and give them what they want, meet them where they are. And don't be afraid to be humble and trip over your words from time to time. That's normal. You're a person. Don't you want to look relatable? That's like my biggest piece of advice.
Yes, I love that. And yes, all of those things. And, you said one of my favorite words, consistency. Even if it's one day a week, right? One day a week. Well, then just do it consistently, right? Pick that, whatever one day it is, and just do it. Because, and the way I always looked at that was, if you're consistent in doing something, people are watching. So if you do it consistently, they're like, wow, I can trust this person. This person is dedicated that on every Wednesday, they're going to give me Wisdom Wednesday, and they're going to give me a tip about purchasing a home or about my credit or about my market, my community, whatever, right? And all of a sudden, they're like, I can trust Taylor because Taylor is consistent, and that means that's how she does her business. And therefore, I want to work with Taylor. Yeah. So even if it is just one day a week, okay, then do the best one day a week that you can do and don't stop. Show up.
Yeah.
That is exactly right.
And that I assure you, if you do it for 3 to 4 weeks straight, it will become a habit and you might even get creative. And that's what I love to see is that, wow, because you started, you just have to start small, start somewhere, but start.
Yes, agree. All right. Speaking of starting. Okay. So my last question is, all right, Now I'd like to know, now you're into this for a little bit, into our industry, and yes, good for you, you're seeing a new cycle. Here we go, right? Cycles all the time in the mortgage industry, right? That's what makes us resilient. But I'd like to know, what advice would you give to someone new that's coming into our industry, right? What are a few pieces of advice that you would like to share with them?
Gosh. So I would say right now and always, the ebbs and flows of the mortgage industry, things will always shift. Rates will typically change. It just is what it is. Go in with the mindset of, even if it's going to be tough or it's going to be good, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to show up for my people. But my goal is to create a white glove service that creates clients for life. Because I think that if you go in and you're transparent and you're communicative and you're making sure that you're pouring into your agents just as much as you're pouring into your people and your past customers, I think if you can consistently show up and follow up, because oftentimes we always fail that follow-up piece.
Yeah.
And it's not just us, it's agents as well. We struggle. We don't look at a file as a file that's just once you close, you're done, right? Keep up with your people. Friend them on social media. Make sure that you're speaking to them and engaging with them. And by the way, make sure you're humbly boasting about what you do so people know. And it doesn't have to be stiff or salesy or gross. It can just be something like, hey, if you know anyone who's looking, I'm here to help. And then again, if you can, you have to have a social presence. You just have to. So no matter what that looks like, if you're into the dancing and the pointing, or if you're into the educational things, I always say social media is it's like a new restaurant coming to town, and it's not a chain. You've never heard of it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go look at the menu. You might decide based off that menu what you're going to eat, what you might wear. Is it a booth or a table? Are we sitting outside? Is that even an option? So if someone's going to do that for a meal, why wouldn't you think they're going to do that for one of the biggest decisions of their lives when it comes to owning a home? So having that presence there, showing who you are, and just being humble is really what it's all about. So if I can teach anything, I would say have that social presence, go in with the white glove service, pour into others the way that you'd like to be treated, because again, it is one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives.
Yeah. And excellent points. And I think back of being in this industry before social media, it is so much easier to bond those relationships and stay connected to our clients because of social media. Years ago, you used to have to, call them, or you might have to, let me send them a postcard, or, let me email them every so often. And all of those things are so great. You should still call them, and you should still go ahead and mail them a little gift during the holidays or whatever you're doing. That stuff's great. But now they can also see you got a new puppy. And you can also see they got a new puppy. And you can have this bond that in the middle of those cycles of when you're reaching out, you can see they're expecting their first child, right? Oh, maybe they need a bigger house, right? Maybe they need to expand. Maybe they're going to be looking to move because they have that first child, right? You have another reason to reach out to them. So it's been a game changer over these last few years of adding social media onto the rest of your repertoire of what you do. So it's a great advantage. And to use, like we said, it's not an option. It's a requirement at this point. Awesome. Well, Taylor, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, for sharing your why with us. You are truly amazing, and we wish you all the best always.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. I appreciate being on here.